So recently I visited this super unique house right outside Kewanee, Illinois. It's known as Woodland Palace, and it was built by Fred Francis in the year 1889. He was an inventor and engineer and graduated from the University of Illinois in 1878. Along with this background, he was also incredibly creative and developed several inventions that were ahead of their time. Stepping into the house from the side door here, you can see how small and compact this place is. It was only him and his wife, Jenny Francis, that lived here. Down in the basement was his workshop and a kitchen, and like I had mentioned, he was an engineer and he incorporated a lot of his inventions into the house. Here you can see a pulley system attached to the ceiling that when turned would open heating and cooling vents throughout the house. This was super high-tech stuff back then, and specifically this house was the first house in Illinois to be air-conditioned. Continuing through the basement, here's the one and only bathroom in the entire house, and again, this is all original. This here is part of the cooling system that he had invented, and it's been redone for modern use, but when built, it would blow air through pipes that were underground, and this process cooled the air so that when it returned, it would be sent throughout the house. The returning air was around 68 degrees, so it was extremely effective. I believe this here is a pump that could be used to transfer hot water upstairs to a sauna type room. This last part of the basement here is for the boiler that would heat up water and then send that throughout the house so that in the winter, the entire house could stay heated. Making our way upstairs, you can see these copper panels that Fred had hand stamped with quotes he thought were important to live by. It's really cool seeing how much detail he put into every inch of this house. Making our way upstairs, we have this cute little coat closet right inside the front entry, which has a few stairs and a tiny little window that overlooks the stairwell leading to the basement. The second floor is where the couple would have done most of their relaxing, and this first room here is the living room where the fireplace is. This is the main AC vent that would have blown out that naturally cooled air into the house, and the next room is the master bedroom, I suppose you'd say, and it was split up into his and her side. A nice chandelier hangs from the middle of the room, and both bedrooms had curtains that if the couple wanted to, they could have their own privacy. This room was his wife's Jenny's bedroom, and I love this tiny little window here in the corner that even has the letter F on it for their last name, Francis. In between the two bedrooms, you have this little hallway type thing that surprisingly has 10-foot ceilings, which is crazy for a house for this size. Here's a little bench with a lady or mermaid sitting down, and I wanted to mention that all of the furniture in this house was designed and made by the owner Fred Francis. In front of each bedroom you have an enclosed area, which I'm guessing could have been used for like plants or something. Moving our way into the next room, this was actually Jenny's room, and the other one was Fred's. In the window you can see the letter J for Jenny, and the other room had F for Fred. If you look closely at the window, you can see this like handle protruding from the side of the window, and that was used to open and close the windows easily. And again, that was one of his inventions that he had incorporated into his house. It's a cozy little room, but in the closet there's this pull-down ladder that again was built into the house, and I would have loved to go up there. Okay, so this next section of the house has several really cool features. To the left and right of the fireplace here, you can see Fred himself engraved in marble, and then Woodland Palace in the middle stamped out onto a copper plate. At the base of the fireplace, you have these thick glass pieces that allows light to pass through down into the basement, and sadly one of them is cracked. Then right below Fred is a super detailed picture of his wife, and this entire fireplace just goes to show the amount of detail this entire house has, and it's just so cool. Over here in the corner is Fred's bike, and he didn't own a car, but every Sunday he would pedal into town and drop his wife off at church. He didn't personally believe in God, but he respected his wife's beliefs. You can see here the comfortable seat she would have sat on, built onto the front of this bike. So this last part of the house is by far my favorite. In the early 1900s, Fred's wife Jenny contracted tuberculosis. Because of this, Fred built this elaborate sunroom that would recycle all of the air in this area every 60 seconds with fresh air from the outside. These pipes here were part of the ventilation system, and this would help keep harmful germs from spreading throughout the house while also providing his wife with fresh air to breathe. Sadly, she passed away in 1921, so Fred built this memorial that sits in the middle of the room in honor of her memory. Throughout her time dealing with tuberculosis, Fred saw how helpful her belief in God was to her. This display of devotion led Fred to reevaluate his atheism beliefs after she had passed. This last area of the house was another area where the couple could relax and enjoy their time together. Throughout his life, Fred had several patents related to how certain watches were made. Because of this, the watch company he worked for paid him royalties for every watch they sold. Several years after he retired, he had been receiving royalties for well over a decade and decided to write a letter to his former employer stating that he had felt he had had enough money and did not need any more. He asked that the company should stop sending him royalty checks, and they respectfully accepted his offer. He died in 1926 from a self-inflicted gunshot wound as he had been dealing with physical problems for many years. In his will, he gave his house and the property to the city of Kewaunee, and as of today, it is a National Registered Historical Place and is watched over by Francis Park Campgrounds. In the summer, the house is open to the public every day of the week from 8 to 5 and is a self-guided tour. They'll ask for donations in order to keep up with the house. Thanks for watching, guys, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Take care.